right, it's the pregame show. Joe Spadoni here in the studio. You got me for the next hour talking all things Bay Area sports and national because, as we all know, and I've been doing this less than a minute into the show. It's 5:50. It's never too early. Come on. I'm seeing the coverage now. Augusta, Georgia, Masters. It does something to you. I don't know. Maybe not for all of us. If you're not into golfing, even if you aren't. This is the greatest tournament in America in sports. More so than NCAA March Madness, more so than any NBA, MLB playoff. I love the NFL. Nothing beats Masters weekend. Except for inclement weather, which is now why the first round is delayed 2 hours. But other than that, nothing can beat it. Tiger Woods, can he make the cut? That's honestly a little sad for me. Because growing up, watching all this golf, you used to watch with my dad all the time, just Masters weekend. It was a thing. Sunday, we'd go to church, we'd have our lunch or whatever, and then we're just chilling. Watching what Phil Mickelson, Tiger, Spieth, the greats of the greats, the Angel Cabrera year. He's still in prison, by the way? Might be out. I don't know. Bubba Watson. All the names you could think of. Since 2000, I think I've been watching it. Maybe too young for that. I was probably falling asleep to the golf by then. Maybe more like 2005, 04. But there is still something special about that jingle, about Augusta, and about the Masters. And we'll be following along all weekend. I got nothing better to do. Well, actually, I think my brother-in-law's coming into town. And my mother-in-law. I think there's like a Japanese festival or something like happening in Japantown. Out in the city. So we'll be doing something over there for brother-in-law's birthday. But as we get back to sports, and good morning to all you lovely people, 888-957-9570. That's the number to get involved. Call or text the Xfinity mobile text line. Want to hear from you. You can also hit me up on Twitch or YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Go ahead and search 95.7 The Game. Like and subscribe. Ring that bell. We're streaming all day long leading up to the Warriors matchup against the Portland Trailblazers in Portland. Trailblazers. God, they're 21-58. They stink. Draymond Green questionable with the knee contusion. Yeah, you can leave him out. You don't need Draymond this game. They're not going to win one for Chauncey tonight. Scoot Henderson, fun rookie year. No. I have no worries or no problems about this game. The Warriors will take care of business tonight, and then the only game that you kind of got to be like a little worried about is Pelicans tomorrow on the back end of a back-to-back. But really, no Brandon Ingram, and we'll see what's going on with him, progressing, we'll see. Zion Williamson is a problem, but the Warriors match up well against them. And then everyone matches up well against the Utah Jazz, who the Warriors will face Sunday at 12:30. And every team will be playing around that time, at least on the West Coast. Because they want to see what the other team's doing. They want to see, hey, do we lay down? Do we keep going? Yada, yada, yada. But the league is like, no. You guys are all playing at the same time. So we have nice competition. We don't want anyone laying down. We don't want our ratings to tank on the last day of the regular season. And there's going to be a lot to play for still. The Suns take care of the Clippers last night, so that means the Warriors are now locked into the play-in tournament. Okay? So they could still be the 7th, still be the 8th, or the 9th, or the 10th. All those are still on the board, but they will be playing in the play-in tournament. There was an outside tiny chance, like 0.0 whatever chance that you can get the 6th seed. That's gone. It's over. Suns got the tiebreaker over you. And if you match them in losses, same record, whatever, it goes to the Suns. Kings have the tiebreaker over you. So The only tiebreaker that the Warriors currently have in this little play-in tournament scenario is over the Los Angeles Lakers. And 888-957-9570. What are we thinking about right now, Warriors fans? Are we thinking about seeding? Or are we thinking about opponent? Because I'm watching the Suns last night struggle against the Clippers. And by the way, that's the first matchup that is solidified in the Western Conference playoffs. The Clippers will be facing off against the Dallas Mavericks in round one. That, my friends, is sexy. A lot of name power, a lot of star power. Luka, Kyrie, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook. Are you kidding me? There's a lot of egos there. A lot of egos. So much ego. Tremendous amount. So I cannot wait for that matchup. And the winner of that one, I think, has a great chance of going to the Western Conference Finals. But there's going to be a pound of flesh taken. That is a fact. And the word fatigue was getting brought up a lot yesterday. And that's why playing in that 7th and 8th matchup and getting a win there and advancing is huge because you get a couple days off. At least a few days off. If you have to be in that 9-10 seed, you got to get a win, and then you got to get another win, and then you have barely any rest. Oh, here, by the way, here's the Denver Nuggets, who control their own destiny now with the win over the Timberwolves yesterday. They got 2 more games remaining. Nuggets, they take care of business now. They're going to be the 1 seed, and it looks like it's going to be that way. They've won 3 straight. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're a machine. I mean, they're just an absolute machine. Best home record in the West, 33-8. It's a home court advantage for sure, playing in that altitude and then going up against a guy like Nikola Jokic, who, for a lot of people, was running away for the MVP. I thought it was a lock. Luka Doncic, that guy's making a push, man. I don't know if he's going to get it, but the regular season's not over, and I know they're not the 1 seed, but just looking what he has done this year, it's unbelievable. With Kyrie Irving, and I didn't know how that was going to go. Like, you go, your turn, my turn, ISO ball, stuff like that. But they've made it work, and they're playing well on defense as a team. I'm not singling out Luka or Kyrie as great defenders. Luka's a big dude. He can get in front of people, but I wouldn't call him the greatest defender. Kyrie, God love him, not his best strength, although he gets some steals. Like Steph. Well, that's not their forte. But scoring-wise, they've both been on a tear, and they're as deadly as combination as anyone in the West. We had Kevin Dan on. By the way, I listened to some of Kevin Dan's calls from that Warriors win over the Lakers. He was going in his bag in regards to some of the Spanish, because they were in Los Angeles, catering to the large Latino community down there in Los Angeles. But my man was just... I love Kevin. Because he's different than Tim. He's his own guy, and he leans into it. And I appreciate it. That's what I want. I want authenticity in my play-by-play guys. So I love our own Evan Giddings, Mark Grandy. They're their own person. Tim Roy. We're very blessed here in the Bay Area to have some of the best play-by-play voices in all of sports. Dave Fleming, by the way, one of them, who joined the Morning Roast yesterday. Find that entire interview on YouTube. Search 95.7 The Game. Like, subscribe. You can also download the Odyssey app. Find it there. And Dave talking about the Masters, talking about the Giants. And we'll get to the Giants in a second because they salvaged the series against the Washington Nationals. And Sam Lubman was not very happy with one aspect of that game, and it was very interesting to me. And Sam Lubman, by the way, host of Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys alongside Joe Shasky. New pod just dropped. Right, Sammy? Thumbs up yesterday. New pod dropped. Find that wherever you find your podcasts. Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys, breaking all things Giants down here in the Bay Area. But as it pertains to the Warriors, what are you looking for, Warriors fans? Are you looking for that matchup you want to avoid? Or are you just trying to be a 7th and 8th seed? Doesn't matter. I just need 2 games. 2 is better than 1. I don't want to have to be in a one-and-done situation, sudden death. That frightens me. Well, Steve Kerr joined Willard and Dibbs yesterday. And again, find that interview on Odyssey app, YouTube, all of it. Tremendous interview, as he is each and every week. But Steve Kerr asked about if he's thinking about potential opponents.
The only focus, honestly, is winning every game, giving ourselves the best chance to move up. And so I'm much more focused on the seeding rather than the opponent. So if we can sneak into 8th, then I really don't care who we play. It's just a simple math equation. Get 2 bites of the apple instead of the 1.
And as Steve knows, an apple a day does indeed keep the doctor away. What a stupid saying. It can be further from the truth. It's like apple all sugar anyways. It absolutely does not. All sugars aren't built the same. Glucose. Please. All right. Anyways. Don't know why that made me so upset, that saying. Certain sayings just get me. It's like, what are we doing? There's more than one way to skin a cat. That's another one. Why are we still saying that? Who is skinning cats? Who's doing that?
People who don't like cats.
Well, fair enough. But are we talking about like tigers and stuff? Like that had to be the reference. Like I'm talking like a little tabby cat. What are we doing there? Come on. Now we're using the raccoon
doing
ones.
Nothing good.
No, yeah. Well, God, my cat's pissing me off. By the way, they're breaking stuff, running all over the house. God, they're just.
So you have options with it. That's just so you know.
They're just total a-holes, man. I'm just being honest.
That's why we're skinning them.
Yeah. You know what? It actually does make sense. I take it all back. PETA, don't go after me, please. Don't cancel me. I'm not saying skinning cats is okay, please. But I'm saying I can understand why people would get pissed off to the point where they would think about doing such a thing. Jerks. And their hair all over the place. It's good. Anyways. Going off the tangent. Hashtag squirrel. I want to ask Warriors fans, if you're thinking like Steve Kerr, hey, I don't care about the opponent. I just want to get into the damn race. Right? Just get me into the damn race and I'll take my chances. Even if it's in the 8th spot and I'm going up against the defending champs, so be it. You know what? Sooner or later, you're going to have to face them. Why not face them right off the bat? That's what I would say. Go at the defending champs head on. You win that series, everything else looks a lot easier after that. Now, they'll probably take a pound of flesh because that's what happens. That's what happens in the playoffs in any given round. Whether you're winning in a sweep or a 5 series, like I look back on that championship run, you lost Gary Payton II, and he was a key cog on that team. But you guys didn't skip a beat. You get all the way to the finals, and then he comes back, and it's just like, all right, cool. More from Steve Kerr yesterday, again, on Willard and Dibbs, and great interview as he is each and every week, but especially this week, talking about this unique nature and being in this play-in race and scenario. It's fascinating to watch these things unveil because there's so many different layers and storylines that I love. Like, do you want to play the Nuggets? Do you not want to play the Nuggets? Are you going to play the T-Wolves? Do you want to play the Thunder? Well, you can't worry about that because you just want to be in the 7th and 8th spot and have a chance. Well, do you want to play the Suns? Do you want to play the Kings? The Lakers? Do they still put a little bit of doubt in the back of your mind? Hey, AD really hasn't played the last 2 games. If he's healthy, does that concern you in a potential matchup at Chase Center, even if it's not in Los Angeles? So many different storylines. I'm trying to gauge the one that Warriors fans are thinking about right now. Is it a certain opponent that you want or don't want? Because as an outsider looking in, I got no emotional attachment to the team. I don't. I'd feel great about my chances with anyone in this play-in tournament. Whether that's the Pelicans, whether that's the Suns, whether that's the Kings or the Lakers. None of those teams strike fear into my heart. I go into any one of those matchups, whether it's in Los Angeles, New Orleans, Phoenix, Sacramento, any of those arenas. And I don't know the arenas like Bontam. Don't even stop. I'm not going to do that. Although I don't know what the Suns one is, like I don't know. But Smoothie King, Golden One, Crypto.com, Chase Center. I know more than I thought. But anyways. None of those teams are making me lose sleep overnight. The one team that may give me a little pause is the number 1 seed, and that's the Nuggets. But I can't worry about them right now. I could only worry about the teams in front of me. And right now, the teams in front of me technically are the Lakers, but really that's only because they have 2 games left. The Warriors have 3 games left. They take care of business tonight against Portland, like we all think they should. They will be ahead of the Lakers, and they will be in the 9th spot. Lakers will be back at the 10th, and they would be coming to Chase Center next week in a 9-10 scenario. But a lot still to unfold. You look at the Sacramento Kings and their schedule, as Jerry Jones would say. They got the Pelicans coming in town tonight. Huge implications there. So, rooting interests, I guess it all depends on who you want to face and who you don't want to face. Right? So they're 2 games ahead of the Kings, and they're 3 games ahead of the Warriors as it currently stands. So you'd probably want the Pelicans to win that matchup, bump the Kings down, even though the Kings have the head-to-head series against you. You want to get them all the way down to where, you know what, you could leapfrog over them. And they're the team that's hurting the most, probably. I mean, Malik Monk, he was looking like, and maybe he still will be, the 6th man of the year. Kevin Huerter, up and down, but he's out for the year. Like, those are 2 key losses for that team. I know they got Fox, I know they got Sabonis, but then they got the Suns after that, and the Blazers, who stink. But this is a massive back-to-back for the Sacramento Kings. Pelicans, Suns, and that's going to determine a lot as it pertains to the Western Conference plan. Good morning to all of you on the Xfinity Mobile text line. Oh, 415. That makes sense. It's short for skinning catfish, not actual cats. I'm going to look into that because that makes a lot more sense. I love fried catfish, by the way. Oh, I can go for one of those right now, like a nice toasted like sesame bun or something like that, or a sourdough roll. Get a little aioli on that bad boy, a little shredded lettuce, cabbage, what have you. Oh, that sounds great. A little malt vinegar. I'm hungry. Steve Kerr, his confidence level right now, sky high.
Confidence level is really high, and our guys are feeling good about themselves and about each other. There's a really good chemistry and commitment to one another on this team that's been there all year, and I think that's one of the things that's allowed us to get to this point and play through the adversity that we had early in the season between the injuries, the suspensions, even some of the just struggles with our play. The guys have stuck together throughout, and I'm really proud of them, and it's fun to watch them play. I thought Wiggs last night was key right away. He played a great game, and we had a lot of guys step up and play well.
The Andrew Wiggins resurgence here. Is he getting hot at the perfect time? I mean, we all know how I feel about Andrew Wiggins, and I'm standing on it. I thought they should have moved off him when they had the chance. Now, they always say, Spadoni, I don't know what you're going to get for him. Well, if you have the opportunity to move him again this summer, are you still doing that? I say yes. I don't think that's a popular answer right now because he's been playing well his last 10 games, averaging 16 points, 40% from beyond the arc, 5 boards, nearly 2 assists. That's more normal for Andrew Wiggins. But that's still not enough for me as a number 2. I need a true number 2 still for me to believe in this Warriors team as a championship contender. I do. Now you can say, Spadoni, hey, well, Klay Thompson, been playing well. Again, though, older player, I don't know if I can rely on his consistency. That's still what giving me slight pause about a potential deep run for the Golden State Warriors. I'm still a little hesitant on those 2 players. 888-957-9570. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are you worried about Wiggins or Klay anymore? Are you like, you know what? They're fine. We're all grooving. Jonathan Kuminga's back. He had a down game against the Lakers, but you know what? He's accepting his role off the bench now. Everyone is accepting their role. Draymond Green, Steph Curry, they are playing at a very high level. You know what? We can beat anyone. We can make a deep run. 888-957-9570. Steve Kerr, ask why they've turned it around. 5th best record since the All-Star break, Sammy? Is that what it was in the West? Or since January, fifth best record?
Yeah, fifth best record in the NBA since January 16th.
There you go. Why is that?
Just the overall growth of the team. Guys like Jonathan, Brandon, Trace, young guys, Moses. These guys, young guys who have progressed and become really important players for us in terms of winning and losing. That's been huge. And then I just think the vets have helped foster that environment. They've mentored these young guys really well. Having Chris Paul, to me, is such a huge advantage for our group. The non-Steph minutes, I've never been more comfortable with him than I am this year because of Chris. So, getting him back from injury, but also having him mentoring the younger group. It's a really, really good group of guys and a well-balanced roster. So we're healthy, and knock on wood, hopefully we'll stay that way.
They're healthy. And hopefully it does stay that way, because you know what? That's all we want. I'm seeing all these pitchers go down in Major League Baseball. And again, we'll get to the Giants win over the Washington Nationals a little bit later. 888-957-9570. Your thoughts on that. Jordan Hicks, by the way, easily the best acquisition this offseason. Not even close for me. Guy's been lights out. Lights out. And I don't know how long it's going to last. Relievers turning into starters makes me a little bit nervous as the innings start tacking on. How's the fatigue going to go? We'll see. But for now, it's looking like a steal. For now. And I can only judge off what I've seen. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But the growth of this team, and I see a message here from the 415 on the Xfinity Mobile text line. Disagree. Which two-way forward will you get back for Wiggins at his price point? It's not about that for me. It's about the fact that I'm paying a guy, again, this isn't going to be a popular take, and that's fine. Given where this team is at and given the vibes that are great, and I'm not trying to bring the vibes down. And I really don't want to have the Andrew Wiggins conversation, to be honest, because he's been playing a lot better, and the team's been playing a lot better. I just was asked the question, because people are feeling great right now, but there's still a playing team, and if you get bounced, you got to make changes. Or do you? I'm just talking about a player who's been inconsistent throughout basically his entire Warriors tenure outside of 2022 and that championship run. And he's getting paid to be a top 3, a top 2 guy. And if that means he can be part of a piece to bring someone else in from the outside, and who that player is, we'll see. I can't predict what the market is going to look like. There's always someone that's disgruntled in the offseason. We shall see. And if his recent play helps boost that trade value, I'm all for it. But for now, he's playing well. And I'll leave that there. How much of this recent stretch, and you heard it from Sam there, January 16th, 5th best record, the Golden State Warriors in the NBA. How much of that are you considering heading into the offseason and going forward? Are you running it back now? Like, has this stretch shown you know what? I think we're right there in the West. Or if they get bounced in the play-in, are you saying, you know what, we got to make major changes? It's a very fine line that I'm having a hard time. I'm going to pull a Steiny here. I'm kind of towing the line here. I'm Humpty Dumpty. I'm sitting on the fence. On one aspect, you can say, hey, you know what? If this was the team we had all season long, maybe we're a top 5 seed. Maybe, but the West is absolutely stacked right now. Like the 5th seed is 50-30. And that's basically a 5-game difference between the Warriors. Right? So if that's a 5-game difference for you, okay. Maybe they're higher than that. Maybe they're a top 3 seed. In which case, that's a 10-game difference. But it's hard for me to kind of go back and retcon, everything since January 16th because so much happened prior to that. And I think it's a butterfly effect, if you will. Draymond Green getting suspended. I hate saying blessing in disguise because I feel like that, eases what Draymond Green did. It kind of provides an escape for him a little bit. But it allowed you to integrate the younger guys and see what you had, and clearly that was the move. Podziemski and Trayce Jackson-Davis have been a revelation for this team, and Jonathan Kuminga has emerged as a potential future star on this team. And that is what we needed to see in years past. The growth and development of the young guys. You saw a little bit with Poole, but then he regressed, and we all know the reason there. Shout out Hawaiian. Had to bring up the punch. That was goo. I stole it. It's all right. We share around here, the references. 888-957-9570. Are we going to run it back with this Golden State Warriors team? Or is that all depending on how the play-in/playoffs play out for you? 888-957-9570. That's my question. We'll get into more of that on the other side, plus more Giants, plus maybe a little Masters, maybe a little more, as they're going to be in a rain delay. I think they already are on this Thursday morning here in the Bay Area on 95.7 The Game.
It's Truck Month at your local Ram dealer with great deals on trucks that work hard, play hard, and break every rule on what a truck...
listening to the Pregame Show on 95.7 The Game.
Oh!
Still a very good Brock Purdy SpongeBob impression. I think that was the takeaway from Super Bowl Media Week. Not knowing the overtime rules and not losing the Super Bowl. It's Brock Purdy's life. NFL draft officially 2 weeks away, by the way. Do I have my jingle anywhere? Where's my NFL draft sounder? That's what I want. Does it still work? Is it still? No. I need to bring that one in. That's one we have to have. NFL draft. It just does something to me. I don't know. I don't know why the selection of players who I don't know will be worth a damn, and especially as a Raider fan, as I'm wearing my Raider polo today, I know they're just going to mess up. It doesn't matter the regime. It doesn't matter the coach. It doesn't matter the general manager. They always they break my heart. Like, even when they selected Khalil Mack, I was angry. I was like, who the hell is this guy from Buffalo? I get he's getting mocked into the top 5, top 10. I was like, Jadeveon Clowney was the first overall pick that year. I was like, I wanted Johnny Football, baby. Now, clearly I was wrong. Khalil Mack's probably a Hall of Famer. Johnny Manziel. I guess doing a podcast round now. I just see him on all these podcasts. Yeah, that was I'll take the L on that one. Hey, we all believed in someone that ended up being a flop. I strongly own my Johnny Football take. I thought he was going to be amazing. I thought he was going to be a Hall of Famer. And then as soon as he went to Cleveland, night. And we all know, and I know we give the Browns a lot of flack, and that was more so the owner. Didn't the owner talk to some homeless guy on the way to headquarters, and he was like, you got to draft Johnny Football, man. And then that's what happened. Oh my God. I think Brian Hoyer was the backup on that team too, and he ended up getting all the first team reps. Kyle Shanahan was the OC there. I'd love to ask Kyle Shanahan his Johnny Manziel stories. I'm sure those would be fascinating. Shanahan likes to get after it a little bit too, but when it comes to on the field and meetings and all that stuff, he's a red ass. You do not want to get in his doghouse, just as Brandon Ayuk and how long it took for him to get out of it. I'm fascinated his thoughts on Johnny Manziel. Maybe that's an off-the-record conversation. I'll ask Kyle one day, if and when I talk to him. We're pretty tight. We're on a first-name basis. I don't have to call him coach or anything. I always wonder that, too. Like, when people say coach, they're not your coach, but do you still call him that? Or do you say, Kyle, Mr. Shanahan? I'm not going Mr. Shanahan. That's too much. I'm a 30-year-old man. What's your first name? I'm going to call you that. All right? Simple as that. We're talking Warriors as we get back to real sports, not hypotheticals. Currently the 10th seed in the West, but with the win tonight against the Portland Trailblazers, they will be the 9th seed, courtesy of a tiebreak over the Los Angeles Lakers. They would both be 45 and 35. They're going to be scoreboard watching tonight, as well as the New Orleans Pelicans take on the Sacramento Kings. Rooting for the Pelly Pels. You want the Kings to fall a little bit. You want to get into that 7-8 matchup and take your chances against potentially Kevin Durant. That's sexy, though. For as underperforming the Suns have been doing, for all that underperforming they have done this year, we could get a Steph, Dre, Clay, VKD, Booker, Beal. Sign me up for that. That would be sexy. And how sweet would it be for Kevin Durant? That's the motivation for him, right? And he's just looked like a shell of himself at times this year. And it's been tough to watch. Shout out Sean Payton. It's been tough to watch. Yesterday, I was watching that game, and they ended up winning the game, and Bonte brought it up in the thread. He just was standing there. at the three-point line in the corner, just gassed, tired. Now, the guy's had major injuries. He's had a lot of wear and tear. He's an older player. That's kind of what this looks like. Again, we've been so jaded with Tom Brady, LeBron James, Stephen freaking Curry. Like, it's not supposed to look like that. That's the exception, not the rule. This is what it looks like. Guys like KD, guys like Kobe, Tim Duncan. Like, we're talking about top 10 players in the history of the game. Larry Bird. Where their bodies just, you know what, started giving up on them because they were getting old. That's what happens. These guys are huge. They got big backs. They got sore backs. They got, like, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Going back to Sangs. Like, that one makes sense and rings true, especially in the sport of basketball. Shaquille O'Neal, another one, but I mean, he never really took great care of himself anyways when it came to conditioning. Like, that's what it looks like. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about like the sexiest matchup, for me anyways, if I'm a Warriors fan, it's going at KD, and whether that's at Phoenix or Chase Center, whatever, it would have to be in Phoenix, I would assume, because of the tiebreak, right? So going at them, that would be fun. And that would mean you're in the A spot, and you know what? You're taking that. Absolutely. Steve Kerr on if the issues they've faced this year have made them better. This via Willard and Dibbs yesterday, right here on 95.7 The Game.
If you could draw it up, everybody would just be happy and right from the beginning, and you just settle into roles and everyone supports each other. But that's not how life works. You know, every single one of these guys has a unique set of circumstances. They've all got incredible pressure on them from multiple directions. So, you know, to me, coaching a team and coaching a season, what makes it so challenging but also rewarding is that you're trying to get each guy to a place where he's improving and rewarded for efforts, and where the guys are all really looking across the locker room, playing for each other. And I think you have to go through stuff to get to that point.
Absolutely. And I think what they went through last year, obviously different circumstances, what the dark cloud, all of that, I do think that helped them into this year with Draymond's indefinite suspension, having gone through everything that went down last year, all of that extra burden, all of that extra outside noise, all of that, the drama, the mood of the locker room, night and day from last year to this year, and the rookies stepping up the way they did during that absence, I think they're all the better for it. Absolutely. It's not even a question. Like, you're getting starts from Brandon Pajemski and Trace Jackson Davis, and they're plus minus. Hell, the high, and I know plus minus is the end all be all. Brandon Pajemski has the highest plus minus on the team for a rookie. I mean, Brandon Pajemski.
Brandon Pajemski.
Brandon Podzmisky.
There you go. That guy. I can't get enough of the Chris Haynes.
Brandon Pajemski.
Bradley Pazinski. Is that AJ's brother or cousin? Might be. Shout out to Poles, man. Polish pride. My mom's Polish. There you go. I know I get all the Italian, but hey, Polish blood too. Let's go. Shout out the Fighting Lewandowskis. Barcelona. How they doing these days? I haven't been keeping up with my La Liga. Watch a little Champions League. Tough draw for Arsenal. Hate to see that happen. Harry Kane. 888-957-9570. I want to hear from Michael Thompson, the father of Klay, because there's a conversation regarding Klay Thompson and his future with this team. And Steiny's talked about, the Warriors got to keep him. Bonte's been on this. You have got to keep this big three together. But after I heard Michael Thompson speak, I don't know if I'm as confident as him re-signing as I was prior to me listening to it. Well, that on the other side, plus Steve Kerr's thoughts on the big three going forward, and the Giants get a much-needed win as they salvage the series against the Nationals before they head on a road trip to Tampa, Florida. We'll get into that on the other side on 95.7 The Game.
The Jeep Celebration event is going on right now with exceptional offers on a wide selection of Jeep brands.
got a joke for you, Bonte.
Pregame show rolls on. Joe Spadoni. Bonte will be on in about 10 minutes or so. 12, depending. Alongside Joe Shasky. Morning roast. They got Anthony Slater coming on. Talk some Dubs a little bit later with them. Chris DeMarco, assistant coach with the Golden State Warriors as well. We had Bruce Frazier on yesterday, the morning roast. You can find that entire interview, assistant coach with the Golden State Warriors. Q, as they call him. I always played as Q, who was a character in Street Fighter 3, for those that care. But Anthony Slater, who's a mashed potatoes guy, as we know, and is anti-Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins?
Yeah. Speaking, I know the NFL draft's 2 weeks away, and the 49ers are probably not going to be taking a quarterback, although if they did take a Spencer Rattler or something, it'd be kind of interesting. 3rd round, 2nd round, what have you. I doubt that happens. They have pressing needs elsewhere. But real quick on the quarterback conversation, why is J.J. McCarthy being considered for a top 10, top 5 pick? Top 5? Well, I watched a lot of Michigan, I'm sure as we all did. Harbaugh, they won the title. I did not come away from any of those big games, whether it was against Ohio State, Penn State, what have you, when you run it 30 straight times, whatever it was. Like, I don't get the love affair with that guy. I just don't. Caleb Williams, I see it. Jaden Daniels, I see it. Drake May, I do not see it. But I will have my hand raised up and say I did not watch a lot of ACC football outside of Florida State. I did not watch a lot of North Carolina football. From everything I've read from, the guys that break down all the film, the Greg Cossells, the Ted Wins, the Mina Kimes, Daniel Jeremiah, all those people, who I respect their opinion when it comes to the X's and O's of football. When it comes to all of them, they seem to think, hey, take a year off, learn, get his tools right, mechanics right, and he could be something. But for J.J. McCarthy, I just never saw it. Like, for as much as everyone kind of dogged on Justin Herbert when he got selected by the Chargers because he had a disappointing senior season with the Oregon Ducks, at least he showed me multiple times to put the team on his back, and the arm strength and the arm talent and the consistency, it was all there with him. And then I was listening to Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Network, former scout in the NFL. I respect his opinion when it comes to the draft, when it comes to all things X's and O's, scouting players, stuff like that. Guy knows his stuff. Best in the biz as far as I'm concerned when it comes to breaking down and doing mocks, all that sort of stuff. But he was saying people like McCarthy, because he's kind of in that Kirk Cousins mold. You could plug him into a Kyle Shanahan, a Sean McVay, a Kevin O'Connell offense, and he'll do what you want him to do. He'll be very robotic. He's not going to go off script much. You can mold him how you want. My reaction to that is, I'm not drafting Kirk Cousins in the top 5. And I like Kirk, not as a top 5 pick. If I'm drafting you in the top 5, I want you to go out and beat Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. That is why I'm drafting you in the top 5. Now, supply, demand, every draft's not going to be as stacked. I get it. You need a quarterback this season. You can't go into the year with like a Jared Stidham or something like that. Fine. But I would much rather take the upside of what I saw from a passer, albeit with a shaky medical, of a Michael Penix, hell, of a Spencer Rattler, guys that can do it with the arm. And I know Penix with his legs not as much, although he ran like a 4.5, didn't he? Guy's not slow. He's been healthy the last 2 seasons, at least at Washington. No, he's older. But J.J. McCarthy, I don't see it. I don't. 888-957-9570. If someone's a Michigan alum, if they can tell me why we should be in on J.J., I don't know. I just need to get that off my chest. 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. We'll see what the 49ers will be up to. And I'm going to take a tackle. I'm going to take a secondary. Very interested to see what goes on there. Maybe a trade occurs. You never know. Trades happen. Remember A.J. Brown getting traded on draft night from the Titans to the Eagles. Brandon Ayuk. You never know. You never know. All right. We can get back into the Warriors here, but real quick on the Giants. They get a 7-1 win over the Washington Nationals, improved to 5-8. Jordan Hicks on the season so far. And it's early. I get it. It's very early. But Jordan Hicks got 2 wins, started 3 games, 18 innings pitched, 13 Ks, 1.00 ERA, and a .83 whip. For those who don't know what whip is, walks, hits, inning pitched, gives up less than 1. And that's what you're looking for. Now, he's had 3 starts, and he's a converted reliever to a starter. He signed in the offseason, as the guys are really getting into it in the back. It's great. Jordan Hicks was 4 years, $44 million. That's what I want to say is what it was. Yeah, 4 years, $44 million, which a lot of upside there. You got 4 years of him. So that tells me, hey, if we go for him to be a starter and it doesn't work out and he doesn't have, the longevity, he can't do it, he can be a reliever. I think that's what that kind of contract tells me anyways. And for Jordan Hicks, I think it gives him some security as well going forward. But I'm very interested to see the converted reliever to starter because I think that's kind of the hardest, I want to say, needle to thread, if you will, because we've seen it a lot when it comes to starters becoming relievers. I mean, you can just go back in history. A guy like Dennis Eckersley, right? You can go to, Neftali Feliz. I'm just going random here now. Just the Jabba Chamberlain. Guys like that. Much easier to convert as a starter. I think Jeff Samardzija, right? Or was that the other way around? Although, either way. Talking about Business Sports Hall of Fame. We're talking about Kirk Cousins. Jeff Samardzija's up there as well. A's and Giants legend. The Shark. What do you end Michael Morse's career? What's he been up to, by the way, Michael Morse? But it's a very difficult task in sports. I think one of the most, going from a reliever to starter, just because of the sheer wear and tear of a given season. And we're seeing it now more than ever with starters getting injured. And Hicks is a high velocity guy, a lot of torque. I'm just curious to see how long he could hold up to this wear and tear of the season. He's been great right now. It's 3 starts in. We'll see how it goes. If they're going to try to, limit his innings as they go along. Like, this is a tough thing to kind of navigate here with Bob Melvin. I've been very impressed with the pitching staff for the most part. I mean, Logan Webb's doing what Logan Webb does. Kyle Harrison's been solid. That's what you look for the rookie. Hicks, again, I'm not worried at all about Blake Snell. When you get Cobb, when you get, Robbie Ray back, we'll see where this team is at. Right now, it's about the offense. And when you're playing Patrick Corbin, how is this guy still pitching in the league? Patrick, if you're listening, I'm sorry, bud. I'm sorry, but my God, I'm just looking at his year by year. After he signed that, what was that, 7-year contract? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6-year contract, whatever it was with Washington back in 2019 after his all-star year with Arizona. This guy has just been god-awful. Each of the previous 3 seasons, he has led Major League Baseball with losses. 16, 19, and 15. And they keep trotting him out there because the Nats are like, hey, you're honoring your contract, buddy. No one else is taking it, and you're an innings eater. Good luck. On the season, 0-2, 8.44 ERA, 16 innings pitched. He's given up 27 hits, and that leads all of Major League Baseball. 27 hits Patrick Corbin has given up this year. Oh, my God. 3 games. Averaging 9 hits a game he started. That's what he's given up. Oh. You heard what Jordan Hicks's whip was? Less than 1.83. Is that what it was? Yeah. Patrick Corbin, 1.938 whip. Guy's stealing money out in Washington. Like, I could go out there and get shelled like that, and you know what? Hey, if I'm making 33 mil, that's pretty good, I guess. You know what? I'm curious. How much has he made in his career? And I'm not mad at the hustle. Listen, he will always be labeled as an all-star to me because, hey, once an all-star, always an all-star. But he signed that 6-year, $140 million. That's what the contract length was. But his career earnings, and he's 34 years old, and you go from the Diamondbacks to the Nats, $141 million. Okay, so it's basically the contract. Okay. $140 million. Not bad. Not bad at all. 888-957-9570. Start lining them up. The morning roast will be up shortly. Come on, Tiger. Make the cut, man. We got Masters to watch this weekend. They're in a delay today out in Augusta. I want Tiger to at least make the cut. Please. I know it's not the sexiest thing, but him being on Augusta, on that course on a Sunday, there's something special about it. Still, I know he's not the player he once was, although you ask him if everything goes well, he thinks he could win it. I never put anything past Tiger Woods, ever. 888-957-9570. That's going to do it for us today. More thoughts on Warriors Blazers tomorrow and how the play-in game takes another twist and turn. A lot of different scenarios still to occur, and we'll know on Monday what is at stake for the Golden State Warriors in the play-in. We know they're in the play-in. They can no longer be the 6th seed with the Suns win last night. Let's hear what Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky have to say about it. Going up next on the Morning Roast, 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game.